Good evening. Today is the 30th of January, 2012, and I'm actually going to do something new. This one's called Octave Evolutions. I've been thinking for a time yet how it was I was going to, in essence, transition between what I knew to be a full series to the next series. And what I've realized is that through the octaves, I'm going to take the time to sort of tie everything together. This is in essence going to be an extended totality session. The octave that we were just in was the red octave, the very base chakra, the very base color. Later on I'll explain more in depth about the spectrum and how it relates to my own choice of interplay. But for right now, understand that the octave that we just left was the red octave, that of authenticity. It was also my credentials, because as individuals, especially as conscious individuals, we've set up certain parameters, acceptable parameters for an individual to establish themselves as a guide. They must be willing to, prove it. Prove that they can see before they try and show others. Prove that they can walk before they try and support others in their own journey. And prove that they care before others will trust them with their heart. I can tell you empirically and without hesitation that I can, that I am, and that I do. I have no real format for this particular transitionary experience. It's going to be, in essence, just a way for me to discuss some topics that I found relevant about what we've already discussed, but also to understand where we are at present, and then to talk about where we're going. That is the nature of existence. Actually, that's the nature of the now. It's why we've created past and future, and why they're accessible within this moment. Why in hindsight you can perceive things so much with a certain detachment that allows for a specific type of clarity, a specific type of understanding. But you never have to do it outside of the safety of the now. You in essence bring the past into the present. And when you project to the future, you do that within the safety of the now as well. Because you know that that future is intangible, it's mutable, shiftable to your own desires, and that as soon as you change it, you can pursue another. For right now, what we're going to discuss was, in essence, the red octave, what we've done there. We did 3 topics, 3 overall series, and these were each a month long, so they might in essence have seemed to the individual to be one series, but there were actually one octave that broke up into body, mind, and spirit. Just like the individual months are body, mind, and spirit. Just like the individual lessons are body, mind, and spirit. We've talked about fractals. I replicate the fractal model. It's the simplest and most efficient way to go about living. The body concept was that of foundations. And in that we in essence discussed the origin of all materials, the mind, thoughts, and the spirit itself, how it drives, in essence, the origin of material and thoughts. How the spirit is the perpetuator of all evolutionary growth. Then we expanded on those concepts. We talked about the fractal replication model of the engine. Then we did transformations. Transformations are talking about the different forms that those base models take. Once the material comes into existence and the thought and the spirit is recognized, they begin to evolve and transmutate. That's what transformations are. And then the third one, the one that we just covered, was paradoxes. Paradoxes allowed me to, in essence, describe what I've come to understand as what's supporting the illusions, the constructs that we all are a part of simultaneously. and all continue to perpetuate. All of these things, they amount to sort of an intellectual academia or a spiritual academia. They are profoundly interesting. They really are. They interest me to a great deal. But I do understand that they are also intangible when it comes to the substance of a life lived on this planet. Make no mistake, I never forget that this is where I am. I am here. I am now, on this earth, as a human, during this time of evolution. See, I've chosen to be here, and it would be a blasphemy to that choice if I spent all of my time here trying to leave, hermetically sealing myself off in a cave and meditating for hours on end. See, that's something that you would do when you don't have a body, because it would be, in line with the natural state of that existence. The natural state of the existence that you have right now, though, is that of sensation, communion, organization. When you chose in the now to come into a human body, you knew full well the implications of that choice. You knew the life that you would live, the most possible outcomes and scenarios, the stimuluses, the scenarios, and also the obstacles, the things that you would have to overcome. And you also knew that you would be part of a single individual story, the one that we're calling the human story, the story of us. By choosing to be birthed on this planet, you chose to be birthed as a character in that story, and you have a vested interest in its outcome. Now, that does not mean that everyone is going to have, the same part, that everybody is required to do the same things. It actually means that everyone's required to do their thing, which is a beautiful concept, because that means that within the now, there's no actual parameters for the way that you're supposed to act. See, that's what I mean when I was talking about a spiritual academia. There's plenty of people out there that will tell you the origins of all the spiritual understandings of existence, but also sort of application moralities, who would then say, because that's true, you're supposed to do this, or you're supposed to do that. Well, see, the thing is, I don't have one of those. I'm not supposed to do this or that. What I'm supposed to do, from my understanding, is enjoy myself, is be the illusion that I'm constructing. Be it. Fully aware of the fact that it's an illusion. See, it doesn't diminish my interaction here. It doesn't diminish the time that I spend, that I understand that I'm a part of a story. A story. That the dramas and ups and downs, the trials and intrigues, the suffering and the growth, the desires for evolution and the path I walk to get there, they all amount to, a very clever, very beautiful game. One that we're all playing. The whole of the material universe is involved in it, from the prime creation all the way down to us. Because the prime creation never stopped being us. It just created a realm that we call all the way down. Are you beginning to see? Are you beginning to understand? This is what I mean by the now. In the now, there's a realization that it's always been one single unfolding instant. Since the very birth of all creation, there's only been this moment, and we've all existed in it together. The next octave that we're going into is the orange octave. Orange deals with sensuality and creation, pleasure, and so many other things that we'll discuss once we get into the spectrum more in depth. But the overall octave is called the art of living. It's going to break down into, well, needs, wants, and what I call appreciative investment. We're moving away from the spiritual academia, and I most likely won't cover that portion of it anymore. Instead, I'm going to do something that I'm uniquely gifted at, which is application. That's actually the first topic is called application, first series, so to speak. Because applications gives me a way to help you to understand how I've been able to take some of these intangible spiritual philosophies and apply them in such a way that it adds depth and vibrancy, enjoyment, abundance to my actual life. Because that's why we're here. Rather, let me rephrase, that's why I'm here. I'm here to enjoy my life here and to give an example of how that can be done for other people without beholding themselves to someone for it. Without saying, this person gave me that. More akin to saying, this person helped me realize that. I said in the end of one of the recordings, who is it that you can seek to teach you that is not you? Who is it that you think you can teach something to that is not you? Because we're all one thing. I, right now, am not teaching anyone anything. I'm just another portion of yourself that is vocalizing a concept that we've all unanimously condoned to come into time-space. And then I said, alright, cool, I'm up, I'll talk. And I listen with exactly the same mindset. The art of living is the art of understanding that we are living art. Much like the masterful video games that we're creating right now. The role-playing games where you can so beautifully enter into magical worlds with a sort of slight detachment and understand, wow, I'm not actually invested in what this character is going to go through, but they make your heart race and your pulse pound the same way that this life can. You get invested in what that character goes through. And they are just a living artistic creation. Legitimately, we got together a whole bunch of graphic artists and they put together numbers and light in space, and it added up to a marvelous constructed game. See, that's precisely what we are too. We're lights and numbers, sound, motion, heat. And it all adds up to this marvelous constructed game. What we're going to attempt to get in front of in the art of living octave is to get back to the art portion of it and then live. We've gotten so caught up in the test idea that this is somehow a test for us, that we're supposed to do something while we're here, that even evolution is the goal of existence. It's not precisely right. Existence will evolve. It doesn't require you pushing yourself to get to it. You will evolve. You don't necessarily have to do anything to get to it. What you should do then is what you enjoy. Find it. Find that which makes your heart race, makes you relaxed, but also eager. Find that with which burns your wellspring, lights the fire in you, makes your moves inspired, lets you roll and tense and shuffle, and then play, man. Because this is a playground. This is a play, an actual play. The whole of the world is a play. Find your part. I leave you.